We are back on the
Happy
couch.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. It's been a long week.
Yes, it has been.
I'm
I
telling
think only
you.
because it's been raining.
The
It's
rain
been
helps.
dreary.
Yeah, the rain has been terrible. And I do not do well when it rains, when it's over cloudy like that, when it is, ugh, I don't do well. I don't do
Welcome
well
to
at
our
all.
couch.
We are back.
We are back. We weren't here last
We
week.
were not. We took a day off because of Holy Week,
Yes.
Passion Week, Jesus Resurrection. So last Thursday we were at church. Good Friday. Good Friday. Monday, Thursday service.
Who's that
Foot
service?
washing, and that was a good time. Had a good time.
We had a great time.
You had a great time. I had a great time. I always enjoy the foot washing service.
We're here on the couch this Thursday night, 7 p.m.
That's where
Welcome,
we
welcome
are.
into our home. We thank you guys for being here tonight. If you're new, this is Couch Conversations, and that's Mac.
And that's better.
And this is our Couch,
Couch
Conversations.
We're a little rusty. Don't worry about it. We'll be all right. Don't look at us in that tone of voice.
So welcome if you're new. We talk about topics that we hope that y'all enjoy.
Yes, yes. What
How's that
married
tongue
couples
tied?
should
What
be
married
talking
couples
about.
should be talking about.
That's where we are. That's what we're doing. That's how we roll. And we've started this because we, as a married couple, have a lot of conversations. And what we found over the years is that a lot of other married couples don't always know what to talk about. When you tell them to go out on date night and go out to dinner, when you tell them that they should be spending time together, a lot of married couples, at least that we've noticed and come across, they don't want to do that. They're afraid to be alone because they don't know what to talk about. They feel like outside of the kids, they don't have much in common. So we've decided to help y'all out a little bit and invite you to the place where we do a lot of our connecting and communicating, which is unfortunately on the couch.
Yes. Because once we hit the bed, it's sleep.
Oh, forget about it.
Or
Forget about
whatever.
it. Or
Anything
whatever.
else.
But yes, the couch is where we talk a lot
Yes.
and converse. And so that's how we got started. All right, enough about that. Today, how was your day, dear?
It was busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing interesting happened?
Nothing interesting happened.
Okay. Pretty much the same with me. In and out, day in, day out. We go to work, we grind. But, I hope that you guys are doing that when you're at home, asking your spouse how their day was. Because you never know.
Well, we already talked about it because we talked to each other during lunch break.
Yeah, that's true. We do. We do that. Maybe you don't have that option. Not everybody has that option.
Yeah. I mean, we try to touch bases throughout the day, even if it's a text sent, like, how's your day going? It doesn't have to be, like, a phone conversation.
Right.
But we text to make sure that the day is going well for each of us.
Right.
And then if it's not, finding time to talk about it when you get home. So that's what we do.
Yep. Normally, we try to do that anyway, but it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it don't always work out.
always
But that's what I'm saying. We usually throw a text to each other.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
how's your day? My day's doing okay, thumbs up, an emoji, or something, or thumbs down, whatever. And then if you don't find time during the day, you can unpack it when you get home.
Yeah, but you got to make sure. That you get that intentional time.
Yeah, so
every
else
day.
you'll be carrying it for an entire week when you didn't get to unpack it.
Yeah, and then you're going to forget.
Then you...
What happened on Tuesday? I don't know. I don't know.
I have a bad memory. Since I'm not going to claim that, but
Hey,
yes,
listen.
I do forget.
Tell the truth
a
and
lot.
shame the devil, as they say.
I've noticed that when we talk, I have to make eye contact.
Yes.
Because if I don't, something else will catch my eye, and it will have me not focus on. And then sometimes I have to write it down because I be like, you'll ask me during the rest of the week, and you be like, we just talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of days ago, and I'll be like, we did?
Which is why we have daily connections at lunch and earlier and throughout the day.
Yes.
Because if we don't, somebody's going to forget
Yeah.
to share stuff. But maybe that's not your issue. Maybe you can go all day at work without connecting with each other. But make sure before the day ends, before you go to bed, before you close your eyes, that you have
That
connected
you're unpacking.
and that you're
your day,
unpacking.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good phrase. I like that. Good phrase.
Yes, you know why I say unpacking?
Why?
Because we carry a lot of stuff around with us all day.
Yeah.
Not like physical. I mean, we do. We carry our bags to work, but carrying emotions from other people, your coworkers, problems, and you don't want to carry them into your household. I mean, you want to have the conversation, but you want to unpack it before you lay your head down.
Come on, psychology.
You don't want to lay down with worries.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
problems of other people.
Yeah.
You want to be able to come home and unpack your day and
Come on, unpack.
leave work at work. I mean, conversate about it,
Yeah.
but leave problems at work.
But now, let me challenge that for a second. Because if I'm unpacking my day and I had a terrible day and I had a lot of problems at work, if I'm unpacking it with you, I can't leave it at work.
I mean, I guess I should have said it a different way. So if you're frustrated at work because of work problem,
Right.
don't put your frustration on your spouse. Like, don't become so angry at your spouse because you had a rough day. You can
Don't take it
unpack
out on
don't
my
take it
wife,
out on
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take it out on the person.
Unpack it via
Unpack it, yeah.
communication, but don't throw the suitcase at your spouse.
It's
'cause
right.
you
I'm about
mad.
to say it's almost like you're actually and when you say unpack,
Yeah.
it's you're unpacking each item. Like if you have your toiletries, you're packing them, you're putting them away in the bathroom or wherever you put your toiletries in the bathroom. You're unpacking your socks, you put them in your sock drawer. You don't unpack your coat and put it in your sock drawer. So everything you unpack has a place.
Come on, psychology. let me put these notes away. We just gonna listen to you tonight.
Everything you
Shoot.
unpack has a place for it to go.
Come on.
And that's I always think about that when I always think about the room getting junky. It's like everything has a place, and if your room is junky or crowded,
Yeah.
like you can't be comfortable, you can't rest, you can't wind down because it's so much mess in your room. And
Right.
it crowds your brain when you see. Well, I know for me, it crowds my brain when I see mess. So I love to organize and I love to clean, but when you're unpacking your day, make sure that you're unpacking it and putting it away in the right places when you're talking to your spouse, and not giving all of the frustration to you, like taking it out on your spouse. So I think that's important. Have a place to unpack, and each thing unpack it put it in the right place.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. Because if you put it in the wrong place, then now you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole,
Right.
and that doesn't work.
And then close the suitcase.
Once you
Once
unpack
it's
it,
unpack it, close it and put it away.
put it
Don't try to
away.
put other stuff in the suitcase for everything.
Right,
of the night.
right. Now that's something that I had to work on. Talking about putting things back in the suitcase. Often, I'm always trying to tell you how to deal with stuff at work, or trying to tell you how to deal with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to put things in your suitcase for you to carry back to that situation or that environment, when I need to just let you unpack it and, like you said, put the suitcase in the closet instead of trying to repack it so that you ready
Yeah,
to
you
go
did
when
that
you
a
get
lot.
there. Oh, wait a minute, hold on
Sorry.
now. I just confessed.
I know.
Hold on now, quit playing.
I don't say
I
stuff.
acknowledge my issue.
Well, thank you.
I got it. You ain't got that. I ain't asked you to
I
co-sign.
didn't mean to co-sign.
I ain't
but
asked you to
meant
co-sign.
because I was going to add light to it. Like, yes, sometimes it's like, okay, well, don't. I'm not gonna add.
Go on. You don't put me out there now.
Fire to
And I know your sister watching this. She gonna come like, that's right, he do. Go on, put me out there. I'm good.
No, but
I'm good.
yeah.
I'm grown. I'm good. Say it with your chest.
Okay, so
Yeah, but that's good, and I hope y'all were taking notes. Have that conversation about unpacking your day with each other because it's important. It's vitally important. Plus, if you unpacked it, you're not carrying it the next day.
right,
So that's also helpful. Good. That's good. That was good.
like that song that Erykah Badu, "Bag Lady."
That's right. You gonna hurt your back
You gon' hurt your back.
in the name. Okay, we do have a topic for tonight, and that was not it.
That was not it, but that was good.
That was good. That was very
I don't even know it was
good.
a lead way to our topic.
Not even close.
No,
Not
okay.
even close. But that's all right.
So our topic is
Tonight's topic is relationship roles and respect. That's not right. Is that right?
yes,
That's right. Relationship roles and respect. What is acceptable and what is disrespectful? And this topic was really birthed out of a video that was shared in a Facebook group that I'm a part of. It's a couples group, and so they shared this video, and we're not going to replay the video for you, but the video was of a lady who was sharing 3 things that women do that really upset men. And she went into great lengths about it. It wasn't a long video, but she said a lot in a little bit of time. But it really made me think, not because I was just like, oh, yeah, that's right, amen, that's agreed, and women just need to be getting right and everything like that. But what made me think it was a good topic was because of the adverse. She was saying that there were 3 things that women do that really upset men, their husbands specifically, was what we're saying. 3 things that wives do that that really upset the husband. And of course, there's always those kinds of things that talk about it. But it made me wonder, we're always talking about the role of the wife, and we're always talking about the things that a wife needs to do to, keep her husband happy and sane. But my question to my wife is, or was, you know, what is the responsibilities, or what are the ways that I need to communicate as the husband with you? That was the main article. It was the way that the wife communicates with the husband, and what's acceptable and what's unacceptable and things of that nature, her role and her position and all of that. And we talk about that a lot. But the question was, for me, what's acceptable as the husband in terms of communicating with the wife? Did you wrote down the 3 things that the lady said?
yes.
Can you read them?
Oh, yes. It says, "Do not be confrontational.
Hmm.
Don't raise your voice, and be peaceful.
Yeah, don't always be complaining.
Don't always complain, but
That third one, don't always be complaining.
I guess it's not like have peace when he comes home.
Yeah.
A peaceful place for your
Mhm.
husband to be.
Yeah, but so don't attack your husband verbally. And she made the point that as men, we find verbal attack as an act of war. I think is how she explained
Mhm.
it. And to a degree, I agree with a lot of what she was saying. It's very interesting, her insight into the male psyche from a woman's standpoint. And as I'm looking at it from a man's standpoint, she wasn't too far off. She didn't leave a lot of room for the variation from husband to husband, but ultimately, there was some truth to what she said. I did, as a
Mhm.
husband, identify with a lot of what she said. No man likes to be spoken to in a certain tone, if you will. You've got to be careful. You've got to be mindful of your tone when you're talking to your husband. It's not that we're sensitive in the sense that you hurt our feelings. It's more so what the tone triggers.
Mhm.
If your tone is aggressive, it's going to trigger aggression in your husband. And so if you're talking to him aggressively, then he's going to think war and retaliation and attack. Why are you yelling at me? So now I'm going to yell at you. You're using that tone that says you want to fight. That you're choosing violence right now, and that's a problem. And so if you're verbally attacking your husband, then he's going to forget for a moment that, wait a minute, this isn't my wife talking to me. This is some crazy lady, and we got a problem. So what she was saying was, don't verbally attack your husband. Then she was saying um, that you have to say it in the right tone. Now she used words like, as the wife, you have to be soft, and I forget what the other word was that she used. And I don't. That's where she lost me just a little bit. I agree that when the wife is speaking to her husband, her tone matters. I don't necessarily think that you need to be meek. And that was the impression that I got when she was saying that the wife should be soft, is that she wanted you to be meek. I don't need a meek woman. I don't need a passive, whatever you say, dear, type of woman. And most husbands don't want their wives to be that way. The reality is, you've got a lot of men who want passive women. And there's a big difference between a man and a husband.
Right.
We'll have to unpack that in just a little bit. But the third thing that she said was not to be always complaining, not to always be creating a negative space around him when he comes home. Instead of, hey, dear, how was your day? I missed you. I love you. So good to see you. It's always, this bill need to be paid, and the house ain't clean, and the dishes ain't done, and all these other negative things. After having a long 8, 9, 10-hour day at work and everybody's on your nerves, then you come home and all you hear is nagging, all you hear is complaining, all you hear is what's not working, what's not right, what's not
And
good.
I know some wives out there talking, well, what about him?
And we're gonna get to that. I assure you, we're gonna get to that. But that's what the lady was saying in the video. Don't always be complaining, because at the end of the day, the men, we compartmentalize, and you've got the whole man cave thing, or you've got the boys not out thing, whatever the case might be. Men will find a way to segregate the different areas of life. And so work is work, home is home. But there needs to be a place where I can woosah and not be bombarded with negativity.
Yes. What is define a husband's role? And I know some people out there like, role. What do you mean a role? We all have roles in,
Not the dinner rolls.
And we all have roles
Not the
in
baby
life.
fat rolls.
We all have roles in life. Like if you're out of the house and you go to work, you have a role. You have something that you're obligated to do at work. Like your job description gives you what you're supposed to do for that day or for that job. So we play many roles in our life, and to me, it's not sad. I wouldn't say sad, but it confuses me, the part where when we get home or when we get married, when we're in a relationship, we shy away from that role. Like, what's my role? Everybody has a role to play in any part of your life.
Absolutely.
But when in marriage, it's different, because the Bible specifically says that husbands' role is to love their wives. And Ephesians 5:25 says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for it. So if you're loving your wives like you love the church, that means love them with all your heart. And that's the role that the husband plays, is to love your wife unconditionally.
Yeah.
Or try. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect, but that's
the-
what that means when it says love unconditionally. I'm
Yes.
loving you unconditionally because you're not perfect. So I don't need you to be perfect to be loved by me. I just need you to be you to be loved by me. That's the part. I think people, what I've noticed married couples, engaged couples, their struggle with the concept of roles in the marriage really goes back to or stems from the the wrestle with a 50-50
Hmm.
marriage or relationship, or you do your part and I'll do my part. The reality
I
is,
think that's where the separation
yes,
starts when you have that 50-50, because
absolutely.
50 is half of a whole.
Hmm.
And if you're not a whole, then it's separation
Right.
from that big number, that whole number.
Yeah, people misconstrue that whole concept 50-50 because what they're not understanding is by me saying I'm just 50%, I'm only giving you half of me.
Right.
I'm only giving the marriage half of me.
Right.
I'm not giving the marriage everything I
Everything that
have.
I have. Right.
And that's the problem. As a married couple, I'm supposed to, required to, needed to, obligated to, and committed to giving you 100%.
And why wouldn't you want to give your all in your marriage? You said that you love this person, that you want to be with this person for the rest of your life. Give them all of you.
You're supposed
You
to.
give yourself to everybody else.
That's what you signed up for.
You signed up to
Mhm.
be faithful to this one person.
Absolutely.
Give your all, because nobody wants less than all.
Right. I don't want. I don't
Nobody
want
wants less
some of
than all.
you.
I don't want some of you. I want all of you.
That's not in the vows. It wasn't.
All of me.
Wait a minute. 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 Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Stay focused. Stay focused. No music here.
No
We just
music.
talking.
Sorry.
Um.
I associate.
lost my
Look,
train.
I associate conversation with songs.
Listen, our conversations will break out in song and heartbeat. But we don't. We didn't hate for that. We ain't here for that. I really lost my train of
Oh, I'm
thought.
sorry, but give your all. You
Yes,
give so
give
much
your
of
all.
yourself to
Yes.
everything else and everybody else. Why not want to make your marriage 100%
Yeah.
happy, joyful, not halfway joy and halfway loving and
Yeah.
halfway kindness?
Yeah.
Like, you want it to be flourishing. You want it
Yeah.
to you want to enjoy it.
What I've noticed is that there's a very strong correlation when it comes to your relationship, your marriage, and your money.
Hmm.
When you have a bank account, if you don't make a deposit, you cannot make a withdrawal.
Oh, we learned that
Yeah.
in the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah, we did.
Was that finance?
Huh?
Was that a finance?
You talking about love deposits?
Love deposit.
No,
Yeah.
that was the guy.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the guy.
No, I'm saying, was that like a counseling session or was that a finance session?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was so long ago.
Yeah, that
But
was-
make your point. Sorry.
Yeah. Deposits and withdrawals. If there's nothing in there, then there's not. If you didn't put anything in, you can't take anything out. If you're not depositing 100% of yourself in the marriage, then it's unrealistic to think that you're going to have anything to draw from. What does that mean? If I'm not loving on my wife from afar, from a distance, while I'm at work and she's at work, then when I get home, she hasn't felt any love. So there's no love for her to give to me. Or vice versa. If I am showering her with all of my love and affection, and she's completely bathed in that and doesn't return it, then you've heard the expression filling your cup to overflow. Well, once she has heard enough and has had enough and is full of love and affection and doesn't need any more, then the question becomes, what does she do with the overflow?
Mhm.
Does she return it to me, or watch this, does she give it to somebody else?
Mm.
That's where it gets very
No, I don't.
dangerous. Huh? Well,
I
of course
said
she
no, I
doesn't.
don't.
But that's where we got to be more mindful of what we're doing. And so if I do not spend all day, okay, here's now this is something I had. We've been married over 20 years. In the beginning, a lot of this we had to learn, right? I cannot reasonably expect, after ignoring my wife for 11, 12 hours of the day, for her to think that we about to be busy and we about to do and all of that kind of stuff, because there's no intimacy, there's no, she doesn't feel attracted to just get in the bed and do it and then go to sleep. No, you've got to start early. You've got to start days ago. You got to start like Monday morning planning for Thursday night loving. You can't just ignore your spouse. And this goes both ways, husbands and wives. You cannot ignore your spouse for days on end and think you're just gonna get in the bed and then it's gonna be us time. That's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to invest because you don't want to just have a physical moment of release
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to sleep. Now you're just using each other.
Right.
And that's dangerous. It needs to be more intimate. It needs to be more spiritually connected, more soul connected. I heard, I don't know if it was a song or if it was just a statement. I believe it was a statement, one of those on Instagram posts. But he said, I don't want to I don't want our bodies to make love. He said, I want our souls to connect
Yeah. Yeah.
and let that spill over into the
Yeah.
physical
You need to reference
aspect.
people.
Huh?
You need to reference people.
Yeah, he'd be all right. But ultimately, we've got to get away from the surface level of obligation and responsibility and delve more into the behind the scenes or the root of it, the under the dirt foundation of it, and that requires intentionality.
Mhm.
You've got to do it on purpose. And so what we're saying is invest in the relationship early, play the long game, and then expect a large return later on down the road. It's kind of like a CD. If you buy a CD in January, don't look to withdraw that CD in February. Let it ride until the following December, and then the following January, now you've got something significant to pull out and reinvest. Why are you
A
looking
what?
crazy? A CD.
You
It-
talking
it-
about a CD, like a CD
Don't do that.
music?
Don't do that.
I'm,
Don't do that.
that went over my head. I was like, CD.
It's a money
What you
thing.
talking about? CD? A CD?
It's an investment. It's a money investment thing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay. Don't
I was like, what?
worry. Ultimately, you have to invest in order to be able to withdraw. Because there are going to be some days where I've had a long day and maybe I'm so stressed out from work that I am not thinking about loving on you.
Mm-hmm.
But because I did it yesterday and the day before,
I
now
have enough.
you have enough to be like, hey, what's up? You ain't smiled at me, you ain't winked at me. What's going on? You good? And now you have enough stored up that you can lavish on me to carry me through, and vice versa. When you've had a rough day, a long day, and I can see how tired you are, I can stretch you out, put the blanket over you, rub your feet, and let you fall asleep comfortably and peaceably without a
Peaceably.
what? That's a word. You know what? I'm done talking. You talk.
And I'm about to say, and don't compare, like when you unpacking, or we going back to the unpacking, but when you're unpacking your day and having conversation and wanting to catch up throughout, don't compare towards each other. Like,
Who
oh,
had
my
the
day
worst
was,
day?
yeah,
Yeah.
huh?
Who had the worst day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, if he's sharing, don't be like, oh, yeah, but my day, blah, 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 and trying to get all of yours in before he even unpack. He, like, don't do that because
Yeah.
it'll cause conflict.
Yep.
Because you like
Competition.
okay, competition. You like, oh, I was trying to tell you about my day, but then
I just saw that on the Cosby Show clip.
Cosby so good.
Cliff and Claire was sitting on the couch and he had asked her how her day was, and she told him. So then he started to turn around and tell her how his day was. She was like, I'm not in the mood to listen to you right now. He said, but I listened to you. She said, yes, but you asked me how my day was. I didn't ask
Oh yeah, I
you
remember
how
that.
yeah.
I didn't ask you.
I didn't ask you how your day was, dear. So I'm not in the mood to listen to how you. But that's true. You don't want to compare whose day was worse. You just want to let
Ooh.
each other
But what if I didn't ask you?
Then that's a
Should
different
you?
problem.
I about to say, should you?
That might be a
unpack
whole
your
nother
day?
other shit. No, because you didn't ask. You don't care. You don't love me.
So, but say, I mean that's what you just said.
I'm
He
talking to the
didn't.
dog.
She didn't ask him. So why?
Mhm.
She was like, well, "Why are you unpacking your day?" Like,
Right.
I didn't ask you. I wanted you to hear me.
Well, he asked her. He was like, "How was your day?" And she told him about the rough day, and he said, "Well, my day was," and she cut him off. It was. Go
But
look it
that's
up.
how
It's on
some people-
YouTube.
I'm about to
It's
say,
out
that's
there.
how some people do.
Some people do. Some people don't. They
relationships.
don't ask. They
They
don't
don't
care.
ask. They don't. Well,
It's
is
all
it because
about
they
them.
don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It absolutely. If you don't ask, it's because you don't care. That's the bottom line.
I guess that's true.
There's no other way around it. If I don't ask questions that I don't want to know the answer to.
So should I unpack my day if I don't care about hearing yours?
If I ask,
But what if you don't ask and I want to unpack it anyway?
then you ask, can you?
Oh, okay.
I mean, it goes back to that. You should always want your spouse to be able to. You should always want your spouse to unpack their day to you every day.
Okay.
That's why whenever we start the show, I'm always asking you, how was your day? Because I want
Yes.
you to unpack it, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, but we already know before we come on the.
Well, yeah, sometimes.
Do we want them to know how our day?
I mean, we real people, like
Oh,
they real
yeah,
people. They be all right.
Ain't
Ain't nobody watching.
I just be like, why? Yeah, we already
see.
know. We had a conversation.
Right. But, at the end of the day,
So we talked about the husband's role. You want to hear
did
the wife?
we?
Did we? Well, it
No,
was
we
only
talked about
one.
the wife's role. We talked about the wife's
No,
role.
I defined the husband's role.
Did you? Define it
Yes.
again. For the people in the back.
Defining the husband's role. Husband's role is to love. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her.
Mm-hmm. So what was the wife role?
I didn't get to. That's why,
well,
that's
get to
what I
it.
just said.
Get to it.
Do we
running
want to
out of time.
define the wife's role?
Yes, right. Define
The
the
wife has more roles than the husband. And this is just information from The Art of Marriage. I
Mhm.
pulled it from the Art of Marriage book. So it gave the husband's role. It gave more. The wife's role in the Bible, because we're not assuming that everybody is Christian watching this, but this is how we.
That's where we come from.
This is where we come from, the Bible.
Right.
A wife's role, a wife is called to be a helper, a supporter, an encourager, and be respectful to her husband. And I know some of y'all out there like, well, why the wife got more roles than the because we're built that way.
Wait
women.
a minute. Wait a
Women, we can do
minute.
everything.
Wait a minute.
That's where your mindset should be. We could do everything. We multitaskers.
Oh, Lord.
We're mothers, we're sisters, we're wives. We cook, we clean, we
Why the wife gotta be
change
last?
diapers, we we have a job, we're multitaskers. Oh,
Men
Ephesians
can be
5:22-24 says, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything.
And
In
what?
Everything.
And what?
Everything. Everything.
I was waiting for it to hit.
Everything.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it to hit. Yeah. But that's something. Can we stop right there? Can we park right there for a second?
Oh wait, and
Oh,
the
no?
role for
Okay.
the husband is to love.
We can't park right
To do that, husbands have to know their wives, to love them in their, I would say their love language, but to love them unconditionally, you have to know your wife. You have to pay attention to her. You have to nurture her, and you have to cherish her. So those are the roles. Those are more roles for the men I'm giving.
Oh, you're so
Nurture her,
kind.
cherish her.
Thank you so much. Now we know what to do.
And pay attention. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. Ephesians 5:29. And I've read the man is called to be the head of the house. So
I like how
You
you
said
get
stay
real soft
where?
on that part.
you said stay where?
You get real gentle. The man is called to be the head of the house. Say
So
it,
the
say it
man
with
is
your
a
chest.
nurturer.
Say it with your chest. The man is called to be the head of the house.
He's called to be the head of the house, women.
Uh-huh.
He's a nurturer. He should cherish her, and he should pay attention to her. That's what men are called to do.
Yeah. I wanted to park right there, actually, because being the head of the house, being the head of your wife, doesn't mean being your wife's master.
Oh, that's true. Say that again.
That's the part. It does not mean being your wife's master. If you get a chance, check out a website called familylife.com. They have a very interesting article. In fact, they have two articles. One, what should be the husband's role in marriage? And the other, what should be the wife's role in marriage? And so check that out, familylife.com. They've got a a plethora of good information for married couples and family life, everything pertaining to married family life. When it's interesting that you say that the roles for the husbands and the wife are not, they're not congruent in length. The wife tends to have more roles than the husband in the relationship, and it's generally, at least from what I understand, we are not experts. There's no PhDs, no doctors over here, none of that. We just know what we know. Um, but the reality is, where you're saying that the wives are multitaskers and all of that, the husbands are, and this is not a word, I'm making it up on the fly, multi-responsible. Yes, we are. Um, for from the website Family Life, what they said was the husband's role is to be a leader. And when you look at that, it's not just leading the marriage; it's the children. It's everything leading, meaning typically as the leader, you're out front.
Yes, and what does a leader always have?
The greatest responsibility.
Yes, but followers.
Oh,
We're the like we're following you
hopefully,
as you follow Christ.
prayerfully.
Yes.
And so that's the first thing they said: be a leader. Then they said love your wife unconditionally. And that one, people always think it's so hard to love unconditionally. It's really not. If I look at you as a human being, you're human, and because you're human, you're going to make mistakes.
Right.
I ought to be able to say it's okay because I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes. Problem comes in when you keep making excuses for your mistakes and then hanging me out to dry for mine. Wives, husbands.
Like, are you talking to me?
No, not at all.
No, I
But
mean
that's
that was
the thing.
that was a mistake in the beginning.
Mhm.
Like I painted this picture like it was going to be a perfect marriage and a perfect me and a perfect wife, and we were gonna have everything organized, and I'm gonna have a schedule when I have kids, and
I wasn't in that picture.
because it's important to know that the and I always say this all the time, like the man has, I don't say the hardest job, but you're head over everything, and we have to be that support when you're head over everything. But if we're not if we don't understand your role as the head of the house, we can rub heads, because
Bump edge, yeah.
bump heads. But in the beginning, I just thought that I was just this perfect little wife, and I had everything organized while he was at work, and dinner was ready, and that was it. Like, I had the kids on time. They was up. They looked nice. They looked clean. They did. And then when he got home, it was just like, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing nothing. And it was like, oh,
Right.
but what about me?
Hello.
Like, you
Took
did
care
all
of the
of this
house,
all day. Took care of the
took
house.
care
Took
of the
care of the
kids.
kids. And then when you got
Laundry
home,
was
I like,
done.
I'm
Food on
over
the
it.
table. I'm like, hello, hi, I'm here. But yeah, it's it's a challenge, and I think that really speaks to the third one, the role of the husband. The third one, that from the website, it says serve your wife, and this is where they gave the quote: being head of your wife does not mean being her master; it means being her servant. To your point about knowing your spouse, knowing your wife,
Yeah.
because in order for me to lead you, I have to know how to communicate with you so that you won't just hear me, but you'll receive what I'm saying.
That's a sermon.
Yeah, it is.
Because who wants to be led by a person who don't know?
I can't be
What
led
they're
by somebody
doing.
who's not speaking my language.
Yes.
We're not going anywhere if you're speaking in a language that I can't translate. That doesn't work. And so you have to be speaking in a language that your wife, husbands, you have to be speaking in a language that she will not just understand but receive. That's the key. That's a whole thing there.
I always think about, the Charlie Brown, where the
Wah,
kids are
wah,
all
wah,
yes,
wah,
when the
wah.
kids are always
Talking to the teacher.
well, she's talking to them in class. They understand what she's saying because they've listened to her or her or him. We don't even know if it was
Right.
him, but listen
teacher.
to the teacher
Right.
every day. We're on the other end saying, well, what is she saying? And they understand, but
Right.
because they understand her language, it's easier for them to be like, "Oh yes, Mrs. whatever her name
Right.
was," or
Mhm.
he, her. But if you're not speaking the language, it's gonna sound like
Right.
wonk 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 wonk
Yep.
wonk 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 wonk, and who's
Yep.
gonna follow wonk wonk wonk?
Not a
The
woman.
only person that understands wonk wonk wonk, which is not you or
Right.
your spouse,
Right.
because you're speaking a different language
Yeah.
than what I understand.
Yeah.
So you have to clarify communication, understand each other when you're talking, and when, of course, in this case, the husband is leading.
Yeah.
You have to understand your spouse, your wife.
One of the other things they said on the website in terms of the roles of the wife in the marriage, they said you have to respect your husband.
Yes.
When you respect your husband, you reverence him, you notice him, you regard him, you honor him, you prefer him, and you esteem him.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the wife should be the husband's biggest cheerleader. And vice versa, of course. For me, a lot of these roles are interchangeable. The husband should be the same way towards the wife should be the same way towards the husband. No one should ever be the first one to tell my wife how good she looks, how well she did, how important she is, how valuable. No one should ever be the first or the loudest voice in her cheering section. She should always have already heard all of how wonderful she is from me first. Granted, maybe I didn't see her when she got dressed that day because I was already gone. But my voice, she should look in the mirror and hear me tell her how good she looked without me being in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it should be. And vice versa. If I'm getting dressed and my wife isn't there, I ought to be looking in the mirror how I'm dressed, how I put the outfit together, and my wife's voice should be echoing in my brain that you shouldn't wear that, or you got to iron that, or that don't quite look right. If you're paying attention to your spouse, not just in how good they look, but in how well they communicate with you, then in the moments when they're not physically there, their voice should be echoing in your mind and in your brain, giving you exactly what they would have given you should they be there.
Mm-hmm.
I should be referencing what would my wife say if I'm saying this, talking this way, acting this way. I represent my wife 24/7, 365, whether she's on my side or not just because I wear a wedding ring, but because my mind, my heart are committed to our marriage. And so when I'm out in the street, I have a responsibility not just to carry myself in a way that says I'm married and I'm unavailable to single women, or in 2024 single men, because hey, I'm just saying, nobody wants to be left out.
I'm about to say, we're married.
Nobody wants to be left out. But I have to carry myself in a way that if her sisters or her girlfriends saw me, their report back to her would be, well, man, you got a good husband, or your husband did this and it was just so wonderful, or he didn't say anything that would cast a shadow
Mm-hmm.
on you, and vice versa. Man, your wife was out there and she was, whatever, and everything was good. The report should always be good
Mm-hmm.
when you're not together by the people who are paying attention to you and watching you and seeing you. I should never get a report, man, your wife was out there and the way she was acting, man, I don't know. Or my wife should never hear, man, your husband was out there wilding. He was just out there acting a fool. You married to him? Like, that's your spouse? Those are the kind of questions that never should come, and they don't come if we're paying attention to each other
Mm-hmm.
and our focus is on each other. I think we have gotten very
we,
far away from the topic of the show.
I was about to bring it back.
Bring it back. Come on, bring it
When
back.
you're confronting each other, I won't say each other. You brought up the three things that a wife does to the husband. I'm saying when you're confronting each other, it says do not confront with aggression. Don't raise your voice in conflict, and be peace. Have peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to know, like, in your households, when you our marriage couples out there, like in your household, how do you resolve conflict? Like, are you one of those that confront your spouse with aggression, or do you stop and think about it, or do you raise your voice when you're having a conversation or when you're having conflict? or debate. We call it a debate now. Do you
Discussion.
discussion? When you're having a discussion, do you have conflict in front of your children if you have children? When you're in public, do you cause a scene? Like, how do you, if something happens out in front in public, do you wait till you get home? How do you? I want y'all to write it in the chat. Like, how do you resolve stuff? Do you wait a week? Do you resolve it quickly? Is it like walking on eggshells when you come in the house for the spouse? How do you resolve stuff or conflict? How do you do that in your marriages? And do you just push it under the rug? And are you that type that just be like, oh, it wasn't a big deal, but I'm gonna just leave it alone? Are you that type of person in your marriage?
Yeah. Do you unpack it?
Do you
or
unpack
leave
it or
in
do
there?
you leave it? Yeah. Do you unpack it or
Just
leave
buy
it?
a bigger bag.
You buy a bigger bag. I mean, that's not funny. That's what people do.
That is what people
in
do.
marriage, and I believe that because you don't have conversations, it causes confusion in the marriage, and it separates you, and then it's divorce, and we don't want that, especially in Christian marriage, because we're supposed to be the example,
Right.
and it feels like the Christians are the ones that's getting more of the divorces.
Yeah, the divorce rate among the
Divorce,
Christian community
yes,
is
it's
higher.
more, which
Yeah.
it's so confusing.
Yeah, well,
Like if we're living by the Bible, if we're being led by the Spirit, and maybe some of them not being led by the Spirit, but
that's the key, though.
that's the key. Like both of you have to be on the same page in your marriage. If you're not being led by the Spirit and you're not in your word, of course it's going to cause a divorce, or of course it's going to cause conflict, and it's going to lead to divorce. So this is why we do this, to help
more married couples, as Bishop Robbie always says, enjoy your marriage more than you endure it. But you have to put in the work.
You got to put in the work. It's a lot of lazy.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Put in the work.
Right.
Like, all we focus on is the actual day, the dress, the venue, the food, the guests.
Right.
And then when you finally get married, I mean, the honeymoon, of course. But after that happens, it's like, okay, well, you still got more work to do.
Right. That's
you
when the
said
work
you were
begins.
in it. That's when it begins. You said you want to be in it forever. It takes forever commitment.
Yeah.
It doesn't take I mean, sometimes, yes, you get tired, but
you're allowed to have a day.
You're allowed to have a day
moment.
or two, or a moment,
Yeah.
or a season, because we do go through seasons in your marriges.
You go through seasons in your marriage. I wouldn't have a season.
No, I'm not
of
a
lack.
season of lacking.
Yeah,
No.
A day,
Not
a
in my
moment,
house.
yes. A season, that's a bit much. You stretching. Because
But
you
it's a
don't
lot
want
of
to linger in
lazy.
that.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
lazy spouses
Yeah.
out there. Stop being lazy.
Right.
Please stop being lazy in your marriage.
Pretty please. Because the
Please
reality
put
is,
in the work.
the question wasn't,
Work out
will
in your
you
marriage.
have a ceremony with me? The question wasn't, will you get dressed up so we can have a party? The question was, will you marry me? Will you do life with me?
Yes.
That's the question. The question wasn't, hey, can we get dressed up in matching outfits and say some words in front of somebody and then have a party and dance? No, that wasn't the question. All of that, that's fun. That's for show. It's what happens the next morning. It's what happens when you return from the honeymoon. Now life begins.
Yes.
And that's what you signed up for, was the after effect. I might have to preach that in the name of Jesus. You've gotta remember why you got married.
And you're not only saying yes to the dress.
Hello.
Jeez, that show.
And that's TV.
Yes, that's
It's
TV. Like, you don't. They don't come back and say, "Oh, let's see how this person did after they said yes to the dress." No, they don't. They don't have a show for that.
They could care less.
They could
They
care
don't
less.
care. They don't
But
care.
the marriage is not just saying yes to the dress or the ring that he proposed to you.
Right.
It's saying yes forever. It's saying yes to his mess. It's
Building
saying yes to
relationships.
your
Yep.
mess.
Building
It's
life
saying
together.
yes. It's saying yes to building a lifetime of commitment and not laziness and not caring. It's a lifetime of the fruit of the spirit.
Hello. Come on. Listen,
Patient love, kindness, gentleness, forbearance.
come on.
Keep going.
You got it.
Oh, I thought you was gonna help me out. We
No,
did it together.
you was running it. You was running the game, but I ain't want to mess up your flow. You was doing good.
Self-control. What's the other one? I missed 2.
I think that's enough fruit.
No, I did 7.
How many is it?
Love, patient,
How many
peace.
is it?
It's 9.
It's 9? Okay, do them again.
I'm talking about love, patient, peace, kindness. Always gotta sing stuff.
She is such a teacher.
Faithfulness.
I don't know that song.
Gentleness, God. Self-control.
I don't know that song. At the end of the day, you have to make sure that you're putting your relationship in front of everything else. And speaking of putting things in their right place, at this point of our show, we always do what we've come to love, a very, very fan favorite segment of our show, which we tend to sometimes. I think we don't give it
Love,
enough
joy,
time.
peace. I got it.
She is still trying to come up
Because
with
I was going to
those
get it. I'm not going to
in
give
the
people
name.
misinformation. Love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, because you wasn't helping me out.
I was trying to introduce
Go ahead,
Vetta's verse.
introduce.
No, you got it now.
No, because nobody going to come on here and say, oh, Vetta didn't know the fruit of the spirit. I know I missed a couple, too, so I got it.
She got it. All right,
Thank you.
for the people in the back. Without further ado, Vetta's verse.
Vetta's verse. Making marriage great. Our marriage is better, and perhaps more important, individually, we are better. Your character and I think, character and show, hold up, sorry. Oh, his character and my character, I think, show greater depth and strength. Why, in spite of the challenges, or maybe in part because of them, are we still together, counting this year better than last? What makes a marriage great? Great marriage does imply vigilance and hard work, but it does not begin there. If you want a great marriage, you must be great. You must be a great you or me. The instructions in God's word, taken seriously and acted on, could revolutionize any marriage because they would revolutionize any individual. When you ask yourself what makes a marriage great, you must look further than 2 people who are discovering together the secrets of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, forgiveness, and love, the fruit of the Spirit. It is on these qualities that a great marriage is built. Do you feel your marriage is stronger today than it was a year ago? Why and why not is the question that you're asking yourself. Double check your marriage against each of the fruit of the spirits listed in Galatians 5:22 and 23. How does your life reflect these qualities? Making marriage great. That is Vetta's verse for today.
Maybe we'll put that on a hat. Make marriage great again.
Oh. Look, not America, marriages.
Marriages.
How about if we make marriages
great?
great? We can make the world great.
If y'all want those hats, coming soon
we could
to a Happy
do
Spouse
that.
bookstore near you. We're
That's
gonna put
wonderful.
that on. I love it. We're gonna do that. Coming soon
We're going to do that.
to an online bookstore near you.
Don't nobody take that. See, that's you got to be careful when you put stuff out like that. Don't
That's
nobody
true.
take that.
Yeah.
How to make marriages great again.
Wait, huh? You
No,
gonna
I was
teach
just
that,
saying.
or you
No.
wanna- You said how to.
No, I said how to, but this is what we're teaching: how to make marriages great. But we can't say what we're gonna put on the hat.
That's too late.
Is it a
now, it's
T-shirt
out
or
there.
the?
We could do both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll do both.
Coming to you soon. We got
Yep.
a happy spouse, happy house
We are working on some merch and
merchandise.
So those that will be
That will be
part of it.
added.
So that'll be out there soon. That was a good verse. She got her fruit of the spirit in there. So make your fruit salad and work it out.
Yeah, enjoy it together. Enjoy your fruit salad together.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, we all have a role to play in our marriages. Don't look for equality. Don't look for I have to give as much as you give or you have to give as much as I give. Look for an opportunity to give as much as you have.
Yes.
Give everything that you have to your marriage,
Yep.
and you both will be taken care of. Everyone will be covered. That was a good show.
It's a good show.
And good talk. Good
We
talk.
had a good talk on the couch tonight.
Hope
we
you
hope
did
you guys
too.
have conversation on your couches or wherever you conversate more.
Right. But I want to
in a
encourage
place.
you. Get on the couch and have a conversation. Turn the TV off. Don't throw some music in the background. But sit on your couch and have a conversation. And the reason I say sit on the couch and have a conversation is because them dining room chairs will get hard after a while. But you don't want to do it in the bedroom because you'll get distracted by other things. Sit on the couch. Stop. I was trying to be nice in that
Oh,
one.
sorry, but I
See,
knew what you
I was trying to be nice. I wasn't even thinking
you were
about
trying
that.
to be nice.
I wasn't
but-
even thinking about that. But now it's on my mind.
You
So
get
we got to end the
distracted.
show. Okay, but see y'all later. No. But sit on the couch because it'll be comfortable and you'll sink into a subconscious mentality that says I'm comfortable and I can settle into a long conversation where you're not cutting it off because you've got to move or you got to go do something else. You don't want to be doing it over the dishes because then you're arguing or you're not arguing, but you're working against the running water. So
Mhm.
you want to sit on the couch, remove every other distraction, and just have a conversation with each other.
Husbands, remember
Spend
to
some
love
time
your
together.
wives, cherish them, nourish them. And wives, remember to show support, to help them, to encourage them, and more importantly, respect them.
Please.
Wives, respect. Submit to your husband.
ESPECT.
He is the head of your house.
And it's interesting. You always hear them say that, and I know we're done. But they always say, well, if he's the head, I'm the neck, because the head don't move without the neck. The neck has one job: hold the head up.
Oh, that's good.
That's it. The neck has one job: hold the head up. And if you pay attention to a person's neck, the only time the neck has movement is when the head moves.
Right.
Because if I turn left, then my neck will twist, but it's still holding me up.
But your neck is a support. So
There it is.
whoever says that, you're still
Mhm.
supporting.
Hello. Come on. The neck is the
The head.
connector between the head and the body.
Yes.
It's the go-between. It's the place where everything flows through, but without the head, the neck has no cover. So,
And I'm
Yeah, we get it.
encouraging you, yes, I'm encouraging you guys
Mhm.
together to read Ephesians 5:21 through 31. It gives instructions about your household, Christian households.
yeah.
Read that together and have a great night. That's
this-
Mac.
And that's Veta. And
And
this
this
has
has
been
been
Couch
Couch
Conversations. We'll see you next week.
Conversations.
God
Good
bless you.
night.